AM and 106.5 FM. WNOV. On this show do not reflect that of the staff and management of WNOV and W293CX 106.5 FM Courier Communications Milwaukee, but are the sole comments of the host and guest of this particular show.
Greetings and to that. But I want to start off today by saying collectively, we're about to use the fertilizer. Okay. We're going to utilize the fertilizer. I've been trying to process it. I had to take a moment. When I tell you I had to decompress, I saw the election results. But let me rewind. I went on vacation this weekend. Much needed moment of rest, had a blast in Texas, came back on Tuesday, cast my vote. Now I'm really excited about this for two reasons. Number one, that is my illustrious sorority sister. So very pleased to see that she was able to elevate and rise to that level on the political stage. The other piece was having a Black woman who's educated, focused, career determined. That made my heart proud. So to go in and cast my ballot was monumental for me, right? So I came home, made me some lunch, went to sleep because I rested easy in the fact that we would get it right this time. And when I say get it right, I mean, you can have differing political beliefs. You can have different focuses on the economy. You can have all of that. But somewhere in the heart of America, I believed that peace, justice, and respect would reign somewhere in there. So I went to sleep peaceful, like, okay, let me take this nap and get on up and we'll watch the results as they come in. I rolled over at about 1:00, had the map on, rubbed the sleep out of my eyes. I said, okay. And I went back to sleep, right? Because America has spoken. So collectively, let's take this moment in and say, America has spoken. They have told us now to our face very clearly, we can't reason our way out of this. We can't make excuses for our way out of this. Some things that voters found more important than civility, than education, they thought that money is going to save them. So that's what's at the crux of this election. People believe that money will save them. It will save them from racism. It will save them from sexism. It will save them from ageism. It will save them from misogyny, all of that. That's what the thought process is, that money and a good economy will save them.
Ebony?
Yes. What you got?
Do you think that the border situation played any role in what we saw in the way of how votes came down?
So,
because I actually saw an interview with an Hispanic individual who said that they voted
Yeah.
for Trump because of border issues. And it really made me think. I'm like, well, at some point you had to. So now you trying to keep your people from being able to come over and get the same ability that you now have.
Right. I mean, that's the thought.
Thought that some of that was selfishness, and there was a lot of underlying things that I saw in how folks were voting.
Yeah.
And even when you speak to, well, he gave us the stimulus. No.
Listen, because you're not gonna hold that $1,200 over my head 17 years later.
Yeah. that little money really is that what we're talking about? Because he's the first president to ever insist that his name be on the check. The treasurer usually signs that.
You remember that scene in American Gangster when
I won't sign it if you don't put my name on it.
Insist, right?
But actually, Debo, to piggyback off of that, what really tripped me out is if people really did their homework and saw that it was a bipartisan bill that Trump told his peoples to not sign it. He killed the bill that would have fixed the border. But he wanted he wanted to keep it in play. So when he get in office, he's already setting it up, that they got the House and the Senate. And you got the Supreme Court.
And the Supreme Court.
So you already setting it up as if it's going to be you to fix it. Right. Because you got people in place to do what you want them to do.
And this is for generations. Yeah. So I think, yes, the border played a role. I think people somewhere, if I look at the data, and again, I had to process the emotion of it. So I cried, y'all. I yelled. I did all that. But then I said, the issue is this. There are people in this country who identify with what makes sense to them. So if you look at the data, the Hispanic, Latino vote, men and women, they don't identify themselves as people of color. They identify themselves closely with the Catholic Church, right? So the family issues, their stance on reproductive rights usually aligns with the Catholic Church. And then the border issue, to them, is not a social justice issue. To them, it's not an economic issue. It's a you broke the rule issue. Right. Yeah, they think coming over the border is a you broke the law issue.
Yeah.
Now
how did they get here?
Listen. And that's what is so difficult for me to rationalize. So you have the border issue for me is an economic issue. You will have fruits and vegetables rotting in the fields if there is no one to pick them. Right. Now, I will promise you, there are not many young people. I mean, I'm using young under 25 that are willing to go to work all day, 12 hours a day for $7.50
and put their sack on their back and pick fruit
by hand.
They're not doing it.
But this is what tripped me out. Trump ran off of saying that they're coming over here taking black jobs. So that means to black people that voted for him, those jobs, those $3, $4, $5 an hour job, it's going to be shifted to you.
And so what I'd hoped people would do is take the emotion out of it, which is why I'm trying to use my radio voice.
I got a question. Did you get that hat while you was down in Texas?
No, this hat has been in my answer. I need a haircut.
Can we repertoire? It's been in your repertoire for quite a while.
I need a haircut. To my barber, holla.
You should have told me. I would have brought my clippers in.
No.
I'd have brought them straight in.
He'd have had you in here look like Mr. T.
Straightened out.
With that bowl cut.
Hey, you would have needed that hat when I got through with you.
Yeah. I mean, I hope I'm rocking it. But it's also to keep my big thoughts in, right? To keep my big thoughts. But I mean, to go back to this economic piece, this for me, if you have people that are here working, that is an economic engine, period. I don't care how you shape it. We are now going to give that money to other places. So whether that be shipped off to India, whether that be shipped off to China, we are going to fulfill that job somewhere else, because Americans, if we hear what the election said, we pay attention to prices. And if these tomatoes go up too much in price and it's cheaper for me to get them from China, guess where I'm getting my tomatoes?
China.
Okay. So whatever is being grown in those, whatever is being produced in those where it takes 15 weeks for them to get here, that's going to happen.
I don't understand how we as a people can vote for somebody that you know is a liar.
Is it bold-faced or bald-faced?
Bold-faced.
Yeah.
Both for him. Both.
Liar. Like this man tell you, I didn't slap such and such, and you saw this
and
man.
You saw the tape.
Yeah, you saw him slapping it. That's not me, and people believe him.
Yeah. You know when it did it for me. He was up in a campaign and I like to think I'm gonna give everybody. I'm gonna listen to what everybody says. So I'm not the person that's immediately gonna cut you off because you identify as this political party. I'm at least hear what you got to say. Let me listen to how you rationalize this. He made fun of a young disabled journalist.
Yeah.
And he did and I immediately went back to like my 3rd grade class, right? And we used to read, we used to rank. But there was a line that you don't cross. Somebody with disabilities and he's like making fun of. I said, oh nah, for me, that's the line, because the civility has to be there. You can argue me on economic policy, you can argue me on foreign policy, but we got to be able to have a rational conversation. If you start hitting below the belt because you can't make a rational argument, I can't rock with that.
I'm gonna tell you this, and this is what's scary. It's really a lot of wolves in sheep clothing, and even amongst our people.
That part.
So it's like when you see you see these results. And then you see how so many of our people voted for this man because of whatever reason.
Because they think the economics will save them.
Not only that, but I've heard some people say that she is trying to turn our kids gay.
Yeah.
All of this other stuff. But I'm like, hold on. First of all of that is free will.
Listen.
God gives us free will. He gives us free choice. So you can make a choice to do whatever you choose to do. And then for all of you people, Christians, to be honest with you, if you really know the scripture tells you, he said, let them all grow together and he would do the separate.
They didn't read Revelation.
So obviously,
they didn't get that.
Obviously, it's how do you, what?
They listen, and I'm going to say this in love. Please hear me in love. We got to read the whole Bible. If you're going to read the whole Bible. But here's my challenge to you, because we got 4 years. Here's my challenge to you. I want you to also go and read the other holy scriptures from other religions, right? And just see where the similarities lie. Because I think a lot of this is, if I can pit A against B, I'm going to do it. Right? If I can get y'all to fight each other, I could sit back and drink my little drink and watch it happen, right?
Now, there was a scripture that said, rightly dividing the word of truth. Right.
They ain't get that far.
Dividing the word of truth.
But what's tripping me out is this man, first of all, Elon Musk is not even a government official. Why are you having conversations with people in Russia and all this other stuff that got something to do with the country? That's one.
Y'all didn't hear what your boy Putin said.
No. He said, congrats, let's work.
But he also said it's a new world order.
So, and this is what I was telling people, because again, Elon Musk said out of his mouth, under Trump, there's going to be a period of time of hardship that Americans need to learn how to live among, live
under hardship,
live, what did he say? Not above their means, but live within their means, because it's going to be a period of time of hardship, but the hardship is going to be beneficial because it's going to help the economy in the long run. And you people went out and voted for this idiot.
To whom? Now listen, I love space, I love science, I love technology, so I'm hot about the fact that this man would try to use this as political engagement, right? That part frustrates me to no end. But it's the civility. I keep going back to civility. So talk back this morning, Milwaukee, 414-444-5250. Yes, sir.
Did you see that Robert Kennedy Jr.? You know, he's got a cabinet position already. They already hooking that up. And you heard what his first task is?
What is his first task?
Fluoride.
He talking about some fluoride, but he definitely gonna make sure that he get after Fruit Loops. Fruit Loops.
So there's
away Fruit Loops.
There's so much,
Yeah,
but to go back
to with Fruit Loops right now. So
to go back to the whole piece about the transgender, I saw that go live, and I said to myself, here's where logic plays a role. My daughter could not go to her school nurse and get an aspirin if I hadn't have signed 17 documents to say that my daughter can take aspirin.
Yeah.
She couldn't go to the doctor or to the school nurse in pain, doubled over, and get an aspirin. But you want me to believe that a child can go into a school and get a sex change? Just order that up. Let me get a a number 2 with a side. Ridiculous. So we're not even using logic in this. We've got a caller. Good morning to you. Welcome to Community Heartbeat.
Good morning.
How are you?
Disgusted.
True.
I'm very disgusted because they let a felon run for president, and they locked up all our people for firsthand crimes that they wasn't born with a law book when they was born. Okay.
Yep.
Now, they showed us that a white man could get away with anything.
Yep.
And if anybody think that Donald Trump won legally, you're fooled.
Right.
Who he had behind him to win Wisconsin was the misfits that showed up on alert, off the radar. Donald, ex-governor Scott Walker, Tommy Thompson is the number one that basically was using the way of scamming the ballot, because on 32nd Hampton, when he was in office, he bussed several people from Waukesha into our neighborhood with tour buses and made false ballots to get Bush over the line. Okay, when he sold it to a preacher, I don't know if it was Daniels, they were supposed to have tore up the building and demolished it, and they was forced to hurry up to get rid of the evidence. It never happened. Only one building got tore down. Now, the thing is, our people that I had talked to that was black, it was ignorant. They only thought that they were doing good during Donald Trump's term, but that was Obama. Obama did 8 years. He did 4 years cleaning up Bush's map, and he did the other 4 to clean up, to get a direction towards the future. Okay, laws come out every 2 years. Okay, it used to be 5. It ain't nowhere in the world that Donald Trump in one term, his stuff came after a president with 2 terms. It's impossible. So we are in the balance of slavery. Okay, and I am in this position. I'm sorry. This black and brown was played then to put us all in one category, then to displace to put us
and then they broke at the last minute. And again, that's what has me hot. You know, we have been shouldering the burden of, we're in this together. We're people of color. We are fighting the good fight against oppression. We are together fighting against racism. We are together. And then it's like, when we turned around, we were standing there by ourselves. I mean, I look at the data. Black women showed up. So I don't want to get so into the disappointment that I forget that she has risen higher than anybody had. And if we're going to argue, she actually performed better than Hillary Clinton.
How can you tell a woman that she has a noose on her body by the government? Okay, she's no whore. Okay, and she's not no animal. Okay, treat it like, you can't breed right now, or we need your slave. See, they need slaves. Okay, they need the poor to fight the war, because they had in place of calling them out far as when they did Vietnam. They forced individuals into war. So what they're doing, they're trying to kill off the poor. Okay, and the middle class will never reach rich, because in this one life living, Donald Trump and the Republicans, I watched it for 30 years, move themselves into the government state and then start acting if they could do their own thing. And that took away America, okay, being united, okay? Saying each state should be able to do what they want. That broke America. That was the first thing, okay?
And that's the part people don't understand about law, right? So again, I say let's be angry for a day, but then let's get back to the logic of this. If each state can decide what they want to do and how they want to do it, what the penalties are, all of that, then you remove the federal level, right?
Yes.
Which means slavery, if I have the numbers, I can actually pass slavery at the state level in my state.
Yeah.
I challenge you all again. I took this week. I went to did my little knowledge trip. I went to the Texas Bullock Museum and I just kind of soaked it in. And I said, what is the lesson here? If each state can decide what they want to do and how they want to do it, you can legalize, bring back the Mason-Dixon line, right?
Yeah.
And these states have aligned themselves and said, this is okay for us because slavery was an economic issue.
And on top of that, if the states are in charge,
it's a lucrative business.
It's a lucrative business. Absolutely.
And then just one more thing is that the voter fraud came up only during Donald Trump term. Okay.
Right.
Out of no president, no one before, and he discredited anybody that was the president before and act like he did things. Okay. What happened is that Tommy Thompson showed he knew that it was it's a pothole to win. He came in to show Scott Walker how to get it. But Scott Walker did it secretly for Donald Trump. Okay, all these people that let them talk about their mama and daughter, call them all different, their wives, all different types of names. They go conflicted back and forth. The Republicans are sitters of what you call treason. Okay, and they all need to be arrested. What Biden needs to do is write 3,000 executive orders. Okay, Donald Trump pulled up this crap saying that no president could be charged during his presidency. Bill Clinton should have been back, but what he should do, he should arrest take the Secret Service from Donald Trump, literally, and arrest them. Okay, and show them that no one is above the law, and get all the Republicans that went back and forth claiming they wasn't with them, then they was with them. They voted for him.
We've already seen it play out. It does not matter if you're a criminal. It does not matter if you're a felon. So I challenge
people need to be released.
So I challenge my local government officials to again use the fertilizer. Here's what I mean by this. I need you to now take up legislation that shows that if you are a felon, all of that reporting that was necessary that barred you from getting a job, all that reporting that kept you from elected positions, throw it out. This is our opportunity. Ball it up, throw it out. Let's get our people back to work, back to becoming part of the economic engine that is Milwaukee, that is Wisconsin.
The last thing. They did this because they knew that elders was in their 80s and dying off, and all our representative, legal representative of civil rights are not in no more.
So then guess what? It's on us. Let's take a quick break. We will come back. You are listening to Community Heartbeat presented by Outreach Community Health Centers. We will be right back. Welcome back to Community Heartbeat, presented by Outreach Community Health Centers. Listen, we are having some real conversation. Let me get right to this caller because you've been waiting for a minute. Good morning, greetings, and salutations.
Good morning. Thank you for taking my call.
Absolutely.
And yes, ma'am. Assalamu alaikum to you. To you all. I'm not calling about anything about concerning those names, the situation that just took place. But what I wanted to say is this, and it is clearly and abundantly evident or obvious to me, and this can be statistically bore out or proven. The evidence does exist that America ranks 26th out of most industrialized nations or so-called first-class nations in science and math.
Mm-hmm.
The people in American institutions, the younger ones, I think the Gen, I don't even know, millennials, I think they don't even know how to write. They don't know how to write. They only know how to, they weren't taught script writing, cursive.
Mm-hmm.
That they know how to LOL, LMAO,
Mm-hmm.
and use acronyms.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a deliberate dumbing down of the population. If you take things academically away from the people and expect them to be critical thinkers in situations, that's not going to happen, because America has taken the path of shunning intelligence. Well, if you're smart, especially for Black people, if you're a smart or intelligent Black male in America, people are going to make you think that you are less than, that you are inferior, that you are soft, and because they're stupid. In the Bible, the prophet styled us as blind, deaf, and dumb, and that the dumb, I think, should be underscored. Those things have to be analyzed or quantified to qualify.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this: who should that be taught by? Is that a mandate from our educational system, or are we? Who should be responsible for teaching cursive? Because I'm gonna tell you, I had an aha moment when I was at the museum. I had an aha moment.
Well, we had cursive writing. It was taught in my house. We had assignments. See, in my household, there was a backup plan.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever we were taught in school, my parents, especially my mother,
mm-hmm.
made sure that we were deprogrammed or
mm-hmm.
we were debriefed
mm-hmm.
about the needle being stuck in the back of our heads as Black children to make us think that we were inferior and that we were less than, and that we were incapable of being manifesting or exemplifying excellence
mm-hmm.
in any endeavor. So that was never a case in my household. That doesn't mean that every one of us excelled or met those expectations mm-hmm. of our parents, but I know that I did, mm-hmm. and so I was not afraid to be smart in class, because I knew I had a mother that if I had not met those expectations in the class, that my mother was going to be very, very severe in her mm-hmm. disapproval of mm-hmm. my lackluster performance.
Mm-hmm.
And what I noticed on a day-to-day basis is that our people have been completely dumbed down, and that they like it, and they think that ignorance is bliss, and
mm-hmm.
ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is hell. Because when you're stupid and you're dumb, you can be led any which mm-hmm. way anyone mm-hmm. desires to lead you in. They mm-hmm. can tell you anything. You will not question it. Mm-hmm. You will not. You won't even contest it at all. You will just accept it as gospel.
Mm-hmm.
And because they like to argue more than reason, we see the results that we see in the street: fratricidal homicides, so much domestic violence. Men can't interact with women because he's intimidated by her intelligence mm-hmm. or her success, and does not understand the art of war and how the women have been made to go against the man, because you kill the man and you keep the woman. The booty, the spoil of war is the booty. You are the booty sister.
No, listen. I appreciate you, and you talking with some sense. Let me touch on some items though. My aha moment came, I had several, but this one. I'm reading all the documents that are inside of the museum, and they're all in cursive. And I say, what happens? And I had to text my friend. I said, what happens when people can't read in cursive anymore? How do you analyze the Declaration of Independence if you can't read it. You go back to the times where we would say, well, Frederick Douglass can read, so let's ask him what this says. Now that does two things. That puts power into someone else's hands because you can't read it for yourself. So I'm going through and I'm reading these documents, and I'm and I promise we're gonna bring this back to healthcare because it all goes together. It's all connected. I thought to myself, in 50 years, children will not be able to read cursive, which means you will believe what I tell you this document says. This document says you are subservient to me. Right. And so I asked the question, who's responsible for teaching? Because I'm so very grateful. And it's not until I got to my 40s where I said, I'm so grateful for the village that I had. By 12 years old, y'all, I was reading the autobiography of Malcolm X. My uncles were the ones that were like, we see you in the sports. And you're gonna be the first woman in the NBA. And yeah. But you can't hoop, scrub. So come over here and let's read this book. And that's what I got from my village. My uncles were like, come and sit and reason. And I'm like, I'm reading this book. And, in class, we're talking about Plato and Aristotle. When I think about Plato and Aristotle, people that sit and teach you how to reason and ask the questions, those are my uncles. That's the village I was raised in. So shout out to all the people that are keeping that. I, too, had a mother that was like, you can go out and be funny. You can go out and play sports. You can go out and do that. But you better make sure that you got your head in the books. Now, that poses a different challenge. Who writes the books? Right? So who is in charge of this? And that's where we get into like these power structures. Having the book is not enough. Having the book, having it published, having it available at your local library for free, right, is the piece that we're pushing. So again, I challenge all of us to use the fertilizer. We understand the issue. So I'm going to challenge my folks. Teach 2 or 3 people how to read. Teach 2 or 3 people how to write in cursive and read cursive, for the reason that I stated before. There will come a time where these documents, we look at them like hieroglyphs, right? That we know that there's something there, but we can't make it out. We don't understand. We need a codec to be able to understand what this says. So teach somebody else cursive for the sake of our next generation. To the caller that said, our elders are dying off. They are. But here's the beauty. It's also awakening something else in the next generation. So there will be another Quincy Jones. There will be another Malcolm X. There will be another MLK. There will be another Maya Angelou. There will be another Harriet Tubman. Y'all ain't listening and paying attention to where they are because you've put some different constructs in place at this point. But I want you to be really, really thinking about this. Now, how this plays out into where we find ourselves today. There are 5 categories that outreach looks at in statistical data. Okay, 5, and I'm going to give you those 5. Mental health, violence, drugs and overdoses, so drug usage and overdose, alcohol, and access to healthcare. Those were the 5 issues that I voted on. Okay, when I went into the booth, I said, life is hard for everybody around the world, but there are some specific challenges that people have in this country, in this state, and in my city, especially in my community. I want someone that can listen to what those things are and activate mental health resources for those people. Violence. If we look across the histories, now one thing I won't do is I won't be backed into a corner and believe that these issues are solely for Black people in this space and time, that these are solely for Hispanic and Latino folks in this space at this time. These things have happened across the generations, across time since human was on earth. So violence is not something that Black people own. That's across the board. However, policies for violence, just like I said, I started to dismiss him when he made fun of the folks with special needs. We decided as a country that life wasn't important when 17 children got gunned down in school. We decided at that point that, and that's what Childish Gambino was trying to show us in the This Is America. We decided Okay, that's when we made our vote. When we said it's okay to kill our children while they are learning. So I voted for my policy that I believe that children should be alive. Now, is that not pro-life? But right. So we cannot pick and choose what we support and when we support it. And that's why I have difficulty with this result, is that we say people are important. We say humans are important. We pass legislation that overturns folks making choices when they say this burden is too much for me. I can't do it. But then we watch babies get gunned down in school and we say, this piece of paper with the cursive that half the country can't read is more important. All right, let me take a caller. Greetings and good morning to you.
Yes, good morning. First thing I want to say is, in order for people to move forward, and let's not forget about Aunt Polly Jackson, the real renegade who fought off slave poachers with butcher knives and hot kettles of water. Because you know, if you soak a butcher knife and it gets rusty and you cut somebody, they can get gangrene. I also feel like they need to remove religion from schools because it pushes contradictions and submissions. I'm an atheist myself. I also feel like you need to believe in self because you are the ultimate power. Because anybody who allows to watch you suffer and anybody who brags to somebody that's beneath them, allow people to suffer, starts with the N, ends with the A. I also feel like Black people don't ask what's in their heart. So if you're going to ask what's in your heart, ask for I for I-242. It's called the do unto others law, which means if you do something to me, I should have a right to do it to you.
That's Hammurabi's code. That's in the word, y'all.
You know, if you kill mice, I should have a right to kill you, which means you get 3 meals a day in health insurance, you're still allowed to live. I want to see you hung. I want to see you dripped in raw honey and bird seeds and you eating alive like they did that boy in 1953.
But then we have states like Texas with the capital punishment, which is still utilized unequally.
I understand that, but if you can use it against me, I should be able to use it against you, which means if a police officer shoots my child, I should have the same right to blow your head off with a double-barrel shotgun. Ask what's in your heart, because here's the thing. They always say, I see them in the afterlife, but you fail to protect them when they're on earth. So you might as well ask what's in your heart starting today. Have a great weekend, everybody.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much for the call. Listen, that's a view, right? So understanding how we got here, the history of it all. And so again, the frustration for me is that now we're saying let's defund the Department of Education. That one hurt me. Like that's the one that put the knife into my heart because we're already failing. What did we say? 2026 in the world for science and technology. And then you defund the place that is pushing for us to learn. So even though it's tainted, even though it's not the best, it does fund college. It does create standards for basic level education. Like by 3rd grade, everyone should be able to read, right? It creates standardized testing to make sure that adults can do very basic things like basic math, like reading comprehension. So I feel like taking all this away will add to the very things that we're trying to reduce. So again, we're trying to reduce drug use, overdose. But when you look at, everything is going wrong, the high stakes, high pressure, that is going to push more people into that usage. That is going to push more people into the overdose because what could be worse than this? Right? What could be worse than kids getting gunned down in school or even just take a moment to think about this. Most of our population right now is either in the generation baby boomer or they're in the Gen Alpha, Gen Z or Gen Alpha, right? Or millennial. So that's where the population falls. I remember the fire drill. I remember the tornado drill. And here's where the rationale came into my mind. We're doing a tornado drill and I'm under a desk that is not bolted to the floor. So I say to myself, I just took my science class and I can see the way this class is built. So I understand pressure. This desk will not save me. In a tornado, this desk will not save me. Same concept with a plane. They're giving the safety information. They're like, here are your exits. Here are your, in the case of a water landing, your seat can be used as a flotation device. Let me ask you this. In your adult life, have you ever seen a plane crash on the news and seen people floating with a life vest? So I challenge you to think about reason and rationale. We've got a caller. Greetings and good morning. Welcome to Community Heartbeat.
Good morning and thank you. Good morning, Miss Ebony.
Hey.
Yes, good morning. Good morning, Mr. Debo. Good morning, Mr. Jermaine Ryder. Good morning, Mr. Carvey.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Milwaukee. Tyrone W. speaking. It's good. I mean, wow, there's so many different places to start.
So many things,
anyway,
right?
There's so many places to start. But the first caller, I mean, all the calls are good, but I mean, the first caller, and you talked about the different states and the different flags and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Because you look, California, they've got their personal flag with the bear on it.
Mm-hmm.
Dallas has Texas has a flag with the star on it, and many others. You know, we've got this flag with these two individuals on it doing whatever it is they're doing. You know, and so on and so on. But anyway, what I was going to say was, what happened to the process of nominating? You know, the power of the nomination. See, we've gotten away from that as a country. I nominate so and so, or you know, This is where the power is right here when you're talking about the power of the people. I know who lives next door to me, and I know his or her work, so I'm going to nominate them because I see them every day doing it, you know, whether it's in their own personal yard or garden or whatever. So I'm going to nominate them because they live this way. So the power of nomination has been slowly diluted or, you know, taken away from us to the point to where, you know, we don't even have the power to nominate who we want, especially for the judicial. Now, as far as the Senate and the Congress and all that, well, you can still do that too, to a degree, but I think for the judicial, that should especially more powerfully be a nomination as opposed to somebody being appointed there. So as far as doing away with the federal level of it, as far as there's a lot there because you're going to need the judges, you know, for, you know, all the way down the line for, you know, federal, local, state and local, you know, but also the Pentagon, you know, the military. So you're going to need, they should be an entity by themselves, which in a way they are, but they still get federal money though.
Yeah. I mean, so, again,
but let me finish. Hear me out. Hear me out because it's got some bite to it. It's got some teeth to it.
Okay.
The only, you know, you can't do that because keep in mind, Colin Powell was a 4-star general. And, you know, the rank means your pay grade, you know, it's your title, but it's your pay grade. You know, you can have a 4 or 5-star general, maybe some 3s that have just as much power because in the situation strategy, or known as the war room, you know, the war table, which is basically the globe set out on a flat surface with lights under it, where you can see the earth and underwater there. So your Navy admirals, which is pretty much a general too, but he's just called an admiral because he's an admiral. He's in the water. He's Navy. And your generals, they've got just as much power or more than the president because they can tell the president, well, no, this is detrimental or dangerous. So we cannot make this attack here because we will lose more troops or more men or more people here. So that's why they've got those positions there to it's called the chain of command, but the president, well, see, he's got to know what he's doing in order to inform those generals.
Say that part again.
It's called the chain of command.
Yep. And the president has to what?
But the president has to be able to understand the nuances of what, just like, for example, take Pearl Harbor. The Japanese came over, the situation was Pearl Harbor there, but they didn't have time enough to really get in the war room to really, because we were under attack. Because
we think that our enemies are going to attack us the same way we were behind the 8 ball on September 11th. We think our enemies are going to announce that they're march like they used to on the battlefield.
But still hear me out though. What I'm saying is that the purpose of being in the war room is called strategizing.
Mhm.
And you know, this if it's done correctly, sometimes, you know, there's going to be casualties of war, no matter how you look at it. I mean, but I mean, if you don't strategize, you're going to be worse off than you were if you didn't strategize. You know, so that's what I'm saying. You know, your president, you know, especially this Trump boy here, he don't know the ins and outs of. I don't care how much you get with Putin and Kim Jong Un and all these other people here. If you don't have these admirals and generals in his ear telling him what he can and can't do, things can go off real bad with that there. So that's an entity all by itself there, you know, that they will say, well, no, we can't do this here. Even with the, you know, he's got the, you know, you can't walk around here with this nuclear football and just say, well, you know, I can do whatever I want to with it. No, that's detrimental to all.
Why not?
Excuse me, to all of us.
Let me play the other side of this coin. Why not? Why can't I walk around with the nuclear football? Who's going to stop me? Who's going to stop me?
Well, I mean, I just told you the general.
You're fired. You're fired. Now what?
Well,
now
no,
who's going to stop me?
You can't do that because you can't fire me.
Who said I can't do it?
Well, my rank, you can't fire
Take me to the Supreme Court.
My rank. You can't
Take
fire
me
my
to the
rank.
Supreme Court.
The only thing you can do is you can court-martial me.
I am the commander in chief.
I'm telling you.
Which outranks your 5 stars. But you're fired.
The only thing you can do is court-martial me. Once you court-martial me, we're in court.
Who's going to stop me?
Well,
I own the judge. I own the state Supreme Court. I own the Supreme Court. I've sat 7. When we're done with this, I've sat 7 of the 9 justices. Who is going to stop me? See, the problem is that we stopped playing chess, right? And we started getting a couple pieces and we got hyped because we were like, yes, B2 to D4. I'm taking your bishop. Yeah, I got this.
Well, see,
so your generals
what I'm saying.
and your army, your Navy.
All of these, you know, Marines, Air Force included, you know, maybe even Coast Guard too. See, all these, you have to have all these entities on the same page. And if they're not, then
they don't set their agenda. I'm telling. Okay, let me back up because I'm gonna see how I get. Let me bring it back down. Let me tell you this. Let me just kind of explain to you where I'm coming from. My father did 26 years in the United States Army and now works for the Department of Defense. Your military has 6 branches now. The U.S. Army,
you got Army,
the Air Force,
Marines,
Marines, Coast Guard, and the Space Force. The Space Force. Okay, so all of them are beholden. They are employees that are employed by the United States government. They have a chain of command. At the top of that chain of command is your commander-in-chief.
The only thing he can do is court-martial them, though. And then once you court-martial, even if you go to the court, then, well, what they going to do? They're going to lock up the whole military?
You sit in jail.
You're going to lock up the whole military?
Why not? Who is going to stop him?
Do that, then
who is going to stop him?
Well,
I just go get more.
What kind of country would you have?
Oh,
I mean, what are, you know? If you do all that, then well, I mean, it's all going to, you know.
I appreciate the call. I really do. This is chess. This is not checkers, which means who is going to stop him? See, again, we're still thinking rational thought. We're still thinking, well, he can't do that. That's illegal. 34 felonies. We're still thinking he can't do that because it would just be wrong. He made fun. He said, grab him by the, he said the third wife. So you're going to tell me about family values. So what I'm saying is this. We are in a new day.
Yeah.
It is time to utilize the fertilizer to enact the things that we find important. For me, Ebony Solly, that is civility. That is humility. I don't care whose faith you want to put it under. There is something about taking care of the person sitting next to you. There is something about understanding that we're all tied together. If the ship goes down, we're all on it. It doesn't matter if you sink first or sink last. We all go down together. For me, that has been the American value. For me, that is what keeps us different from other places. Now, I understand war. I've read Art of War. I understand strategy. Again, this is your homegirl. I grew up playing Battleship. right? That was fun for me and my people. We played Risk. We grew up in the 90s where the music video had the strategy board and had Queen Latifah moving the pieces. So I understand what you're saying. What I'm suggesting is that we think about how to take these concepts, these ideas, these principles that we're going to stand on, how we utilize them to continue to grow. We can grow in concrete. We can grow where it's been desolate. We've shown that. Now we have to take the fertilizer and grow in this country for the next 4 years.
Yeah. What you was trying to get across to him is he's in the highest position. He can do what he wants. He don't care about the rules and the regulation of his country because he didn't operate under them anyway. He got 34 felonies in the office.
It doesn't matter.
So that tells you he don't care about none of the structure. It's about him and what he wants to do.
Yep. No checks, no balances. So it really is up to us. So let's figure out how to strategize for the things that are important. When we come back in the next hour, we have 2 guests, and it's community medicine. It's how we heal, physically, mentally, the whole shebang. You're listening to Community Heartbeat, presented by Outreach Community Health Centers. Not just a show, this is a movement. It's dedicated to bringing our community together through wellness, keeping your heart pumping with positivity. I'm Ebony Solly. We will be right back.
Are you a small business owner looking to scale your business all 2024? Register for our upcoming boot camps every first and third Saturday of the month.
Good morning and welcome back to Community Heartbeat, presented by Outreach Community Health Centers. This is not just a show, this is a movement. Y'all got me all hyped up, got me fired up. Let me bring it on back down, because I'm telling you, I tried to process this on all Wednesday. So let me grab this caller. Greetings and salutation.
Hey, good morning.
How are you?
I'm fine. Our people perish from the lack of knowledge.
Don't say it again.
Our people perish from the lack of knowledge. He has to understand. I want black men to understand that Trump felonies are irrelevant, because if the federal government gives you a felony, you can go work for the federal government. They have to accept that felony. Other companies don't have to accept that felony. So that's how Trump is doing what he's doing with the felony. So I highly encourage these brothers that got these felonies to go work for the government. These government jobs, and you will get hired.
Listen, I'm telling you, because until we learn how to position and play what we see happening, because one of two things is going to happen. Either you have to come back and say, nope, there are different rules, and you have to say that publicly, that there are different rules, or you have to accept it and you have to put these people into employment. So I say again, use the fertilizer, figure out and re-strategize. So I do hear that one caller that said, we have to strategize the things that are important to us. This is the time to strategize.
One thing you said about using fertilizer, if you don't know the pH of the fertilizer that you're using, okay, the fertilizer ain't gonna do you no good in the application for you using that. You got to understand the pH, which is the balance of the fertilizer, to apply it to.
Okay, let me look. You gotta come on in here and preach and teach. You're right. You're absolutely right. Absolutely. And we dealing with some real acidic situations, right? Is that what you're telling me?
We dealing with it. So now let me touch on one point. I'm gonna let you go. The military, and all the military, that man is a commander in chief, orange man. Okay. So that football goes where he goes because he makes the final decision. That's what people don't understand. So not only are you trusting this man with your finances, you're trusting this man with your life. And how can I tell you, I'm going to take the ability for you to take life if it's harming you, and you must die, and you vote for this man. That's why slavery is coming back. It's white slavery. It's called a cult. So what they doing is, they're going to enslave all people, even their own. See, that's how it's going to come back. See, ain't nobody safe.
And that, again, I think that's the big lesson is, where do we find safety, and what does safety look like? So I appreciate the call. Let me grab this second call, and then I got to get to this next segment, because it's all connected, right? It's all of this is playing on us, is weighing on us, and it's going to have implications to our health. So greetings and good morning. Welcome to Community Heartbeat.
Hi. I would like to speak on some topic, if I can.
Absolutely.
All right. First of all, get your pens.
Okay. Stay ready.
Look up this documentary called Goodbye, Uncle Tom. Okay?
It's called the what?
Goodbye, Uncle Tom.
Okay. And tell me what it's about.
It's about slavery.
Okay.
It's about the study of how slavery was done and how they changed our women to have a figure of some slash of a white woman. Okay. It goes into the deepness of showing how they was raping and selecting men to sexual encounter 13-year-old girls. Okay. So check out this. That's the first point I'm going to say. This is where they're trying to lead it to. The strategy was that this whole book play came from Scott Walker, okay? And he was the president of the Republicans party, as far as the committee. And what happened, Paul Ryan, both of them took that book there. Donald Trump snatched it from him and kept it, okay? Neither one of those individuals was part of Donald Trump party. Wisconsin was the most leading attribute of state that everybody went to, okay, as far as voting. If Wisconsin went, we was the number one big state from Canada considered, okay? Everyone usually followed. That's why they say when Wisconsin, this is a secret, they did a lame duck and stripped Tony Evers, okay?
Are we talking about, okay, because you got a lot of stuff going on in this conversation. There's a lot of different points.
I'm going to tell you where it is. I'm going to line it up.
Okay.
They did a lame duck to make like a Republican state flipped over from a Democrat. So once they got that and took all the power from the inner city of Milwaukee and closed down all the control of municipalities' doors first, okay? So they cannot rebuttal of what's going on. Now, here we got now Donald Trump. Ain't nowhere in the world, Tammy Bowen and she got through, and also our what's her name?
Gwen Moore.
Gwen Moore got through and won Wisconsin. That was Democrat lane. Okay. Now, how did any of the Republicans get through like that? Okay. And Donald Trump asked before through his other term when he was trying to run if you could find any other electoral votes or something like that. So he made sure that this time they spent money to get Wisconsin switched where it met that number, and then surprisingly made it look like better than anybody else in the world. If anybody's still following this crap, you have to understand this is slavery. And
let me just say, because I gotta keep it pushing. I appreciate the call. I appreciate you listening. There's a lot of information that you just shared. I want to make sure that this space is one that is rooted in fact and data. Okay, so let me finish. Facts and data. This is a time when I say use the fertilizer, I mean, we have to step up and remove emotion. Yes, we're upset about if the election went the way you want it. People are hype if the election went the way they want it. But I'm saying in this moment, let's back up. Let's take emotion out of it. Let's think about strategy. Let's think about the things that we want to see in the future. Now, you mentioned a lot, and I just want to make sure we keep it factual here. Your congressional races are not the same as your Senate races, which are not the same as the overall election in the Electoral College. So that we need to go back and make sure that we understand that process. And Wisconsin is a space that we have to think about not only the city centers, which are typically more diverse, but what is happening out in the countrysides of Wisconsin. Now, I'm going to bring this back. So thank you so much for your call. I hope you keep listening. I hope you keep sharing because that's the space this is meant to be.
Check out Goodbye Uncle Trump, and y'all will know where we're leading to.
Okay. I appreciate that. When we look at how this comes back to where we are today, the space that I'm occupying is the health space. Now, I think there's a lot of connectivity to how we listen to health issues. I think there's a lot of connectivity to the stress that we internalize in our bodies, right? Like, again, I say me, Ebony, Black, educated woman, needed to take Wednesday to process. I needed to process that a woman who has done all the right things, who has done what this country has set her up to do to succeed, did not win, which with all logic should have made sense. So to tie this back into health, I got a couple folks in the studio with me, and we're going to talk about the programming that's at Outreach. But I also wanted to hold space to acknowledge that for generations, right, we have overcome everybody, really. I mean, it really is a study in biology how we've risen in spite of. But I'm challenging everybody that's listening, that's processing this in different ways, to figure out what your body needs in this moment in time and do that. If it's arguing and yelling nonstop, I get why people used to assemble at the McDonald's now, because sometimes you just need a space to just chop it up and right. So I get that. If you need the space to talk to a therapist, shameless plug, 414-727-6320. Have that space to talk through those issues with a professional therapist. If you are looking at how do we move on to not hold this in, go just take a moment to go get a checkup, right? Make sure everything is good with you, because the next 4 years will be taxing on the mind and body. And listen, to be honest, the next decade, the next 20 years. So like I said, I've got some folks in the studio. We're going to talk about outreaches. I call them the 5 focuses. So it's that mental health, it's the violence, it's the drugs and overdose, it's the alcohol, but it's also the access to healthcare. In the midst of all this, we got to make sure we're taking care of us. So this is the homegirl, the big sister saying it's time to just maybe turn off the computer, walk away from the TV, and refocus on you and your health and being in optimal health. Okay. So with that little segue, let me introduce who I got in the studio this morning. So first off, welcome back to Rochelle Cockerham.
Thank you for having me back again.
Absolutely. Always a good time. And welcome to Veronica Williams in the studio. Let me tell y'all a little bit about Veronica, just really quick. She has an associate's degree in human service and medical assisting and has been a medical assistant for 7 years as a program education coordinator for the Northside Milwaukee Health Center's family medicine program. She grew up in Milwaukee's 53206 and lives in 53205. She sees firsthand the health disparities that we're challenged with. Her passions and goals are to help the community be healthier versions of themselves. She is committed to working with the community to meet this goal. And let me just tell you how dynamic these women are. I think there's a unspoken sister code that whatever job we're given, we're going to excel in that job, right? We're going to make sure that we consistently over-deliver. So these 2 women consistently over-deliver. And their roles are to make sure the community has access to practitioners, physicians, the whole 9. So welcome to the show, ladies.
Thank you.
We got a lot going on, but we're going to, as we do, we're going to figure out a way forward, right? So one of the pieces, and again, I think we forget that there are systems at play that would benefit from people, not just Black folks, not just city center folks, but people in general not being well. There are people that will benefit from that. But just like you have people on that side fighting that, you have people that are dedicated to making sure that people are taken care of. So with that, MCW, the Medical College of Wisconsin, has a residency program at Outreach Community Health Centers, which is located right on 2nd and Capitol. And it's dedicated to, over the next several years, keeping people healthy. Right. So this program is called the Family Medicine Residency at Outreach. And there are screenings available, there are immunizations available. So ladies, just tell me a little bit about the program. Just a really brief, I know people have heard me introduce it. Rochelle, we've talked about it a little bit, but what is the program at MCW? What is that?
So, excuse me. So our program is, we train physicians who are committed to serving the underserved population and communities in Milwaukee, providing safe and competent care.
Okay.
So, although our doctors our doctors in training are young, they are very knowledgeable. They learn from some of the greatest and I think the smartest individuals I've met in my life.
Yes.
Our faculty doctors, who are the doctors that train the residents, they have a vast of knowledge. Like we are family medicine, but they specialize in so many
everything,
things.
Right? Yes. Right.
So like everybody has their own niche that they bring to this program. So even if one physician doesn't know, somebody else knows. So you're definitely, when you come to us, you're going to get the answer that you need.
I love that. So it's a teaching specific environment. So the students are learning. Yes. So they've signed up to learn across this journey about community medicine. And I know I'm off script, so I know I'm about to get in trouble. I know I'm about to get in trouble.
I got it.
So what did this community piece, like what's different with them coming into outreach and practicing medicine versus being out in Superior practicing medicine?
This is a very good question. Actually, I'm ready for this.
Okay.
Because right now we are in interview season. So for us to be able to come on this show is like a privilege at this point because we're so busy with interviews. So I meet a lot of candidates from all over the world, right? But to be a part of our program, you have to have this special niche. You have to have this passion for people that needs the help. We don't want just anybody to come over here and practice, because when they get to our program, they're already junior doctors.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So you already have the knowledge that you need to care for people.
Okay.
But for our program, you need the passion that we need you to have to care for people.
I love that. So we featured 2 of the residents here on the show. And I love what you say. It's a passion, it's a calling, it's purpose.
Yes.
Right. And so again, I say for every time that we might be able to look at a negative connotation of something, there's always a positive. And so we're giving birth to new doctors. And I keep saying this, I hope that they stay here forever. I hope that they become these legacy physicians like a Dr. Finlayson, who delivered like almost half the people that live in the city, right? There's something special about that, right? So
can I add one thing to that? One thing that I really want to add to that Veronica mentioned about interview, most of our physicians, they themselves come from underserved populations. So they know, even though they come from different parts of the world, or this country, they can appreciate and understand some of the things that their patients go through.
Yeah. And that's critical to care, right? So I made a joke during the break. I was like, whoa, this is getting my pressure up. But there are some things that are in our community that when you have a physician that understands, they can kind of look at the situation differently. So if it's a Black woman receiving care, right, maybe some of the screenings might include breast cancer, but they're not just reading it and going, oh, okay, all clear. They might be digging a little deeper, saying, okay, but what does the diet look like? Okay, what does the exercise look like? What are some of those historical factors, right? So with that, in the screenings that are available, just give me an idea of what kind of screenings are being done by this residency program. Do you know that?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
We have prostate screening, cholesterol, blood pressure, breast, colon, anything that you think you need, we have it. And if we don't have it, we are partnered with Freighter.
Okay.
And we have friends over there that can help us as well.
I love it. So no excuses. Call, make your appointment, 414-727-6320. You can ask specifically to work with the residency program. 14 doctors year 1, 14 doctors year 2. So right now, that's 28. Check my math.
And that's only residents.
Then there's the faculty.
That's correct.
Now, you talked about the fire and the passion that's inside of the faculty. Talk to me a little bit about where this idea of MCW came from. Where did this program come from? Like where did that come from?
So our chair, Dr. Joe Gravel, had this idea, and from my understanding, it was a dream of his to have a program with the Federally Qualified Health Center. So he talked with our program director, Dr. Camille Garrison, and asked her to take on leading and heading up this program. So this program came about 2 years ago. Like you said, we are in year 2 and going toward year 3. And she herself is from the inner city of Milwaukee and is very passionate about that. And our faculty have, I would say, about 25+ years of experience that they bring to this program. And so that's how this program started. And we are really moving and progressing forward to do some great work in our community.
I love it. Okay. So Veronica, 53206. We've all heard, seen, right? This is our city. Especially when we get into conversations about like health insurance, right? So if we could just be really real right now, a lot of folks in the community either let insurance lapse or don't have insurance, and that's affecting communities of color, older adults, high risk groups. That's affecting them differently. So tell me why it's important to put these doctors in what I'll deem as a medically underserved area. Like, why is that important?
So it is important because a lot of times we don't go to the doctor or go seek help until something is wrong, right?
Yeah.
But the problem with that is when something is wrong, now we have to go to the hospital. And that is going to cost you.
It's economically different, right?
Yes. The hospital is going to want their money and everything. So that's why. And then a lot of people don't have access to the hospitals, or they don't know about, out of places like Outreach, who you can come if you don't have insurance. There is a sliding scale. They do work with you like financially, just so you can get the care that you deserve. So it's like, let's establish care with somebody, and you can use my chart and send a message when you got a problem.
Come on. Okay. So we're gonna get into my chart, because that just blew my whole mind. So it's you're saying the preventative medicine is cheaper than the emergency care.
Definitely. Because personally, let me tell you, I didn't know this, nobody told me.
Right.
And that's why my job is very important to me, because I wish I had somebody telling me this stuff that, I can educate other people with, So growing up, like once I turned 18 and was off my mom's insurance and stuff, like I would just go to the hospital when something was wrong, right?
To the ER,
And then now at this big grown age that I am now, St. Joseph wants their money.
Listen, hello.
So they don't have a problem with garnishing your wages.
Hello.
Taking you to court, suing you for anything. So my advice would be to like establish care. You can just go to the doctor, once a year or twice a year, just to make sure that everything is okay. And then when you feeling funny, just text your doctor on my chart. Call and make an appointment. It's like, it's so much simpler than we make it out to be. And I wish I had somebody to tell me this when I was younger, because even if like a lot of people don't qualify for state insurance if you have a job, basically.
Right.
And if you don't have kids, it's even worse. You don't get any type of help. So you just go to the hospital when your arm hurt because you think you got having a heart attack or something. When you could just make an appointment.
Get in.
We have so many doctors available. We can get patients in and seen as soon as next week. So we here, like the care is here. We just got to go out there and get it.
That's right.
Just make a phone call.
Just make the phone call, 414-727-6320. So it's the preventative care. It's what I'm hoping that people do is take a moment, rebalance, recenter, and really focus in on you. Like, what do you need for this next year? Get that annual physical. Most of these conditions that affect our community more can be managed. So like a diabetes can be managed if you know that you have it. Heart issues. So if you have high blood pressure, that can be managed if you know that it's there.
And also when you go to the hospital, they just gonna treat you and let you go.
And let you go.
Right.
So
let you go. After sitting there for 6 hours
or 8 hours.
So you need like that follow-up care, but also just like, you don't want to have to keep explaining yourself. So let's just say you go to the hospital and then you don't follow up. Then you go back to the hospital because that same thing or something else is happening. Now you have to repeat yourself because 10 times out of 10, you're not seeing the same doctor when you go to the hospital. So it's just like you constantly have to repeat yourself, and nobody really knows you or who you are or what you're going through. They can only see what they see in the chart.
And so let me see. Let me check my time. Make sure I'm good. Okay, he said I got 1 more minute. So when we come back, we'll talk about this briefly, but when we come back, we'll dig a little bit deeper. You're utilizing electronic medical records, right? So I can communicate with my doctor online, digitally. I can keep track of what's happening with my body, right? So I get a blood test, I get my cholesterol checked, I get all of this done. I can keep that like neatly in one file, right? Is that accessible to everybody? So let's say I come in and I meet with Dr. Agbar.
Yes.
Okay. And then he happens to be out the next time. So I make my appointment. He happens to be out. So I have to meet with Dr. XYZ. Can they see all of my information? Like, can they see what me and Dr. Agbar did?
Yes, there are notes that are accessible to whoever is caring for you. And then not only can Dr. XYZ, as you said, see it, Dr. Agbar, when he gets back, because he's unavailable, he can follow up with you.
It's that continuation of care and how that works. For me, that's a benefit because listen, if you've ever been on hold online and then you got to explain your issue, then they put you on hold and then the next person is like, hello, how can I help you? You kind of had that moment like, didn't I just explain it? Go listen to the recording, go read the notes. And now in healthcare, we're able to have that record that follows you and you can make those communications and have that all in one place. So that's one benefit that I absolutely love.
But I also believe like you can request a
Ooh,
appointment.
come on.
You can
Okay.
request an appointment and then just say you don't have time to hold, you know, we work busy hours and business hours. So I can message my doctor and just, hey, can somebody call me so I can schedule an appointment?
Yeah. I love it. So Outreach Community Health Centers, Medical College of Wisconsin, family medicine program. But as Veronica says, so many other specialties, so much knowledge that's really keeping our community well. So when we come back, we'll get more into this MyChart because I love me some technology, and we'll talk about the benefits of that, some of the upcoming events that are happening, and just how to make sure we have total access to healthcare. You are listening to Community Heartbeat, presented by Outreach Community Health Centers. We will be right back. Welcome back to Community Heartbeat, presented by Outreach Community Health Centers. In the studio with me, Rochelle Cockerham, Veronica Williams, two women that are dedicated to health, wellness, and the best in preventative care, access to care in our community. So before the break, we were talking about electronic health records and being able to use MyChart. So basically, I'm texting the doctor saying, holla. I'm texting the doctor saying, hey, here's some issues that I had. Maybe it's medications, which again, shout out to Outreach for having a pharmacy on premises, for having dental services on premises. So I can actually text and say, look, I had this screening. I'm not feeling well. This medication is giving me a headache. I can put that in this MyChart and my doctor can read that.
Mm-hmm.
And then just follow up.
Yes, ma'am.
Listen, who's doing that?
Or
Outreach.
you can like just on the MyChart app, just hit request refill. You don't have to message. You could just press the button and say request refill.
In this time and space where we are eating a cheeseburger while we're driving with our baby toe, trying to put our lipstick on in this mirror, time is money. And so being able to connect with your physician and just ask for a refill right in the app. Outreach 414-727-6320. And you said people can get in as early as a week, really? Yes. If they call and make an appointment? Okay, so will you promise me, Milwaukee, that you will rise up, you will take a beat, take care of self, get that annual, get those labs in, understand what kind of conditions we're working with into the new year so that you can take care of you? Because listen, you won't be any good to anybody if you're not taking care of yourself. So we've gone over that this is quality care. These are physicians, and they are learning additional community medicine pieces from esteemed faculty. I got my digital record, so that follows me around. And I know that I can get quality screenings from Outreach. Let me ask this. Why is it important to have that physician that you can reach out regularly? I mean, I know we've talked about it a little bit, but if I have Dr. Agbor and he's following me over the course of 10 years, why is having that physician on deck so important? Just that continuation of care. Why is quality care important?
Well, first you want to build a rapport with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I said earlier, you don't want to keep on having to explain and teach somebody who you are and what you've been through, what you're going through, your signs and symptoms. It's like a headache.
Right.
So I'd rather be able to follow somebody, or in our case, our residents are there for 3 years and then, you get a new doctor.
Then they're going to stay forever.
Well, hopefully we can keep them in our community. Dr. Agber has expressed, he's asking questions like, is this a good place to raise a family and stuff?
We're going to keep.
Yes, I'm trying. Milwaukee is a home to our residents at this point.
Yes.
They do love it here. Like, you should hear how they speak about Milwaukee when we have our social or when we're doing interviews and stuff. Like, they speak very highly. Like, not only are they here to serve us, but they are actually here living in
the
Milwaukee.
City. I absolutely love that.
I'll add to that, when you have a regular physician, you get more effective and a higher quality of healthcare. It also, we go back to that cost. It lowers your healthcare costs. It improves that you have better health outcomes, and then hopefully you're seeing a decrease or to fewer hospitalizations, because like Veronica had mentioned, you have that preventative care. You go a couple times a year and you're done, instead of going back and forth to the emergency room trying to receive care. And then hopefully with that, we'll see a decrease in health disparities if we can get everybody to start getting a primary care physician.
I love it. So I went and I pulled the description of this program, and there are 3 words that popped out to me. The first one was individualized. So I think one of the beauties of having this program at Outreach is, as you come in as a patient, you have a team of people, but that team is treating one person. They're treating you. They're treating Ebony Solly. They're not treating a case study in a book. You have a team of people that are saying, what does Ebony Solly need to be healthy, right? Is it diet? Is it medication? Is it she just needs to back away from the plate because that's giving her high blood pressure? But no, seriously speaking, you have people that are looking at your conditions, your health, from different angles. And I think that's always beneficial. I'd love to have a team trying to figure out what's happening and to keep me in my best shape than one person. Right. The second word that came up was evidence-based. So these are students that have dedicated their lives to medicine. Right. That was one thing I noted when we had the residents here, is that this is a love. This is a passion for medicine. Let me ask you this, since you talked about the interview process. How do you know when somebody's passionate? I know I'm off scripted here. How do you know when somebody's passionate?
So one thing is, like, because everybody looks good on paper, right? We can write anything. We can do some immaculate things, but a lot of people do it for show. But you have those people who go above and beyond. Like, yes, I created a Saturday free clinic, right? But I also went ahead and I went to legislations and I tried to change this, and I spoke with these people, and I, like, our physicians, our residents have done so many great things, like not just treated us, they went and they advocated for us. They're still trying to like research and find and new ways to doing things and develop new processes. Like, it doesn't just stop or start with the care that they give to that individual. Like,
they're not just doing a job.
No,
right?
And that's huge. They're not just doing a job. Some of the candidates that we speak with, like, so on Sunday we have a social for an hour, and it's just like real relax and chill. It's myself, the residents, and then the candidates, the potential candidates, we just have like a regular conversation. And some of these people that we may meet next fiscal year have done some amazing things. Like, travel just to go take care of somebody that has nothing to do with them, never seen them, don't know anything about their background or what their community is like. Just like our residents coming here. It's not like they're doing a research about what Milwaukee is and how it is and, the dangers or they just come in here to do what they passionate to do. Yes.
Oh man.
So we had a potluck because we are more like a family. Like the treatment that you get from us is from a family. So we had a potluck a few weeks ago, and one of the residents was like, I hear so much bad things about Milwaukee, but I've not experienced it. And we're on the east side of Milwaukee. They have not experienced, gun violence or being robbed or any of that. They actually here to like, do their job, even though they hear all these horror stories.
Right.
That does not
Right.
affect the care that they give. That does not affect them coming, to serve us. And again, I grew up in the area code 53206. I still live in 53205. So like even I'm, that the stuff that we hear, the negativity that we hear don't scare myself or other people that's coming here to serve us away.
And that's a beautiful thing. And I think in kind of where we are right now, we have to, and I keep use the fertilizer, but also don't miss the flowers. Like, don't miss that Milwaukee is a place that you can grow.
Mm-hmm.
And Milwaukee is a place that you can flourish. And I think that's borne out. And we can't forget that people will come here. And I love that it's like they have a servant's heart, because it's like, I find that with medicine, that people don't care what you show up and look like. They don't care what you do for a living. It's like medicine is what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So again, I know I get on my soapbox on this show and I talk about making sure that you're getting those screenings, but also know when you're going in, you're not just meeting with somebody that has a job. Medicine is a calling, and I have yet to meet a physician that's not like, you're going to hear about medicine from the time they wake up to the time they go to sleep. And I love that we have that passion over at Outreach. The last word is in this description is culturally competent care. And I'm gonna give y'all just a very quick story. It was my freshman year of college at Marquette. I went on spring break in Mexico. I overdid it. Sorry, Mom. Mom knows. I did share with her, but I ended up in the emergency room. Right now, I took my happy self down there, not speaking a lick of Spanish, because I took French, because bonjour. Okay. So I'm in the hospital. And I'm trying to explain to this woman that my heart feels like it's beating too fast, right? So I grab her hand and I put it on my heart and I like bang on the bed, like that my heart is beating too fast, right? This woman took care of me. I was the only patient in the hospital. I have a picture of this, right? Because my friends thought this was hilarious. Took care of me and was like at my bedside that whole night. Medicine that is culturally competent, that cares about you as an individual, transcends borders. It transcends race. It transcends economic status. It is medicine. And so like, it's times like this where I think like, no, there's people out there that are going to rise to the occasion that is required. Because all she knew is you going to live. Right. And so she gave me this little prescription. I was like, I don't know what this means. So she drew me a little map to show me where the pharmacy was that I could go and get these tablets. And the next day I felt 100% better. So I'm hoping that little anecdotal story is kind of healing. But these physicians don't care. They don't care if you got laid off and lost your insurance. They don't care if you got 3 kids and Badger Care just expired. They don't care what the next administration is going to do on healthcare and in the policy. They want to keep you well. And I think that's kind of an inspirational piece, right? Is that what you're seeing when you see the physicians show up every day? Like, are they like, okay, medicine, focused, keeping people healthy, keeping people well? Is that what you're seeing when residents show up every day? Is that what you're seeing at the potlucks? Is that what's the vibe?
So let me just say this. Even if, let's say, because people can, again, put on this mask and come in and look so good and great. Even if we did have a resident who wasn't mission aligned with us and they just slipped through the cracks, they have to get through so many faculty doctors that will correct that. So even if you don't come correct, you will be corrected. Dr. Garrison, she does not play that. Don't play at all. Dr. Garrison will fix the problem at hand.
Yes.
Even if we send you to one of our friends and you have a bad experience with somebody else who don't have that passion like we have, our physicians are going to correct that. Yes. Our residents will advocate for you. That's what I was saying. Like, they will not play about you or your care. Yes. We don't care what you have going on outside, because your health, your mental health, your wellness is for you. So we're going to treat you and make sure that you are well.
I want that to be our new tagline. We don't play about you.
We don't.
Outreach Community Health Centers.
We don't.
MCW, we do not play about you. I like that.
We take it very serious. We want you to, take it serious. So we're going to take it even more serious.
And that matter. I mean, so you're saying from the leadership on down, everybody is seriously focused on wellness and care. What would you say to somebody that's like on the fence? They're sitting at home. They're like, yeah, okay, so I've had this headache for a year. I was going through the YouTubes, and Tabitha Ann Brown was talking about the reason she went vegan is she had a headache for a year. I know it's somebody out there listening to this radio station that's like, well, yeah, I had to get up and go to work and I had to do this. So they had this headache for a year, or their foot has been hurting for a year, or that's just my sore elbow. It happens like that when it rains. What would you tell them about getting up off the couch right now and calling and coming in?
So I know you joke about that, but that is
very serious.
That is serious.
Very
I've had
serious.
patients come in and be like, oh, I've had this hand pain for 3 years and I'm just not seeing a doctor.
Yes.
Like, please don't wait. It can start off so small and grow to be something so big. So when you feel like your body.
Yep.
So when you feel something is not right, like, please reach out, call us. We can get you in to see a doctor. Like, even if it's nothing, let us make sure that it's nothing.
I like that. Making sure that you're good. And I said it with jest, but I know we do it because we are, and I'm speaking we as the ubiquitous we as everybody. We are resilient. We got too many things to be doing to stop and take care of our health. So this is your wake up call to say, pause. That thing that's been gnawing at you, just get it checked. Yeah. Let the doctor come in and tell you that it's nothing. And then you go on about your business. But if it is something important and it's something that needs to be remedied, you're going to find it out before you show up on the ER doorstep.
Yes,
right.
Correct.
And then get that $10,000 bill that you're saying will never go away. So
not go away. They're coming to get their money, I promise.
Yes, they are.
So that little $20 fee of your office visit looks much better than a missed day of work because you got to go fight this case, or they just gonna take the money out of your check. So you go to work and just take it out of your check. Yeah, we wrap that right on up. Anything that people need to bring, I tried to make sure that on the website it talks about just how to prepare for your appointment. But I think I want the people to know, if you don't have insurance, just share that. If you do have insurance, bring that. If it's not the most expensive, the most comprehensive insurance, that's cool. We got professionals that'll walk you through that. So really, there are no excuses, right? People don't have any excuses to get on in. 414-727-6320. I was going to say, if you have any last feedback for us or the guests, Rochelle or Veronica, give us a call at 414-444-5250. So I hope I have your commitment, Milwaukee, that you're going to show up. You're going to take care of yourself for this next year. If people don't have any coverage, haven't been to the doctor in 5 years, let's say they make a plan for 2025. How many times should I be coming in to see my physician? If I got my calendar out, I got my pen, I'm like, all right, 2025 is the year I'm about to make this count. I'm going to go in for my initial visit. I'm a Black woman. What else maybe should I be on the lookout for? Because I'm going to put breast cancer screening on here. Can I get my immunizations with you all?
Yes, please come get your immunizations.
Okay.
I know a lot of people, are against immunizations, but in a world that we live in,
look at me. Against immunization. Okay, let me
we
know.
have so many people coming to our country, right? And I welcome them all. If this is a better way of living, please come. But we have to keep in mind that they don't have the health care that we have here. So we have to protect ourselves. Like, yes, we want you to come over here and learn from us and join us, work with us and everything. But they also bring in whatever disease processes they have over there. So it's important for us to, prevent things, and we can do that by simply just getting our vaccinations.
Get your vaccination. Listen, I will say, look, I'm watching my time. I was in Texas for vacation, met the creator of a spirits brand. So he made bourbon. The reason he made bourbon was that he could not eat a particular type of food because he had polio. So I'm going somewhere with this. Polio is a disease we thought we eradicated in the 50s, right? It was a disease that many organizations pushed for vaccinations, immunizations against. And so we thought it was gone. I only knew about the disease because I was a Rotarian, and Rotary makes sure that it gives vaccinations around the world. This man, he couldn't have been older than 50, maybe, and had polio. So that means that things that could be easily a polio, I think it comes in a package with some other vaccinations, takes 5 minutes to get. So I said that to say maybe we have forgotten collectively that these diseases exist. Maybe COVID is too fresh for us, and that's the only thing we can see. Maybe we've gotten used to flu. But let me tell you, the data is there. The evidence is there. Vaccinations save lives. And to your point, people are coming in from all over. They bring yellow fever and Zika and this and that and this and that. And it's a real safe, real quick remedy. And that's to come and get a vaccination. Vaccinations have a tiny cost, I do believe. But can you get in and out in a couple minutes? Can I go back to work? Can I?
So if you've had like your annual exam, and that's another thing you ask, like, how many times to at least come get that initial annual exam.
Okay.
And then in that one, we can address everything. We can address the screenings. We can address the vaccines all in that one visit. So you don't even have to come back, because you've did everything in this one visit. Yeah. And if everything is all clear, we may see you in a year or we may see you in 6 months, depending on what your needs are. Because we're here for you, the individual. But you can look at your vaccines on my chart.
Boom. Again, listen.
If you need a flu,
futuristic over
if
here.
If you need a flu, you will get an alert. A COVID shot. We have everything. So if you get that initial exam, you can actually just make a nurse visit and come in, get the shot, and go.
And just
you don't have to see a physician if you've already been seen within that year.
I love it. Listen, I need Milwaukee. I need y'all to do two things. I need you to every birthday check your credit. Okay, that'd be your birthday. That's just your big sister talking, right? Because we see what that's gonna be. But also at that birthday, schedule that annual physical so that you know what's going on. You know how to take care of you. It is going to be more important than ever. And listen, I know there's pushback on vaccinations. I ain't gonna argue with you. Sign up 414-727-6320 because you got to be here to argue with me. You got to be here to argue because I'm not coming to the hospital.
I got your back. I got your back. I got your back. I got your back.
It's quick. It's painless. You might have to nap that afternoon just to let your body do what it's gonna do. But that's that individualized care. It's gonna take all of us to keep getting healthy. So do it. Don't make me, because I will. He's been giving me pushback. Anything else that we should really be excited about? I'll tell you, within the next year, there'll be phenomenal events that Outreach will be hosting. So you all can come out and meet these residents, right? So when you hear me say we have an event, you can come out and meet them, come out and talk to them. Sometimes you just gotta see what the vibe is. I love them just because I've had the opportunity to interact. But when we do events, come out and meet these residents, come out and meet your next doctor. You matter, they matter. Their passion is medicine, and we're just here to facilitate and put that all together.
And next Saturday will be opportunity to meet some of our physicians. We'll be at the Holiday Wellness Fair, which is going to be at the M.M. Cooper Plaza, 8700 West Brown Deer Road. They're going to be health screening, information about men's, women's health. There's going to be a turkey and ham giveaway. First come, first serve. So please come out and you can meet some of our awesome physicians.
I love it.
And you'll get to meet us too. All three of us will be there.
All three of us will be there. We'll be listening. Come on out.
On a good Saturday.
And
all day from 10 to 2.
10 to 2.
But that's another thing that's very unique to our program too, because I don't know about you, but I've never seen my primary care doctor outside
of the hospital,
and our residents be outside. We out there talking. And they're so humble.
Yeah.
I always tell them, like, introduce yourself as their new doctor.
Yeah.
Because they look so good. They so young. They so vibrant. They're so cool to talk to. You don't even know that you're speaking to a doctor. Yeah. And they're outside coming to you. They gonna meet you where you at to get you where they are.
They were at our festival, our health and resource fair this summer. They were at farmers markets throughout the summer. Juneteenth. They're just cool people. And I cannot underscore enough how much passion plays a role in this. So they've committed their lives to medicine. So just come out, get well, but come meet them. I get it. Somebody's on their couch right now and they're like, I don't know about these people. Come out and meet them. Just shake the hand, ask some questions. Now listen, don't come in here Saturday trying to get a full physical at the event. Okay, don't come in here talking about, but this is the pain. And look, this is call us, get connected, get on my chart, and then you can have those conversations with your doctor. So 414-727-6320. You can get appointments as soon as next week. It's a sliding fee scale. So if you're worried about the cost, like Veronica said, you're going to pay, $20 now or $10,000 at the ER. You just got to figure out what makes the most sense. It's an economic decision, y'all. I'm just saying. The full pharmacy, you have that electronic digital record. So you can chat back and forth with your doctor. Immunizations you can get. So come on, sign up, get those, and just get it over with before the seasons change. One thing I will also say is open enrollment. It's open enrollment time. So if you are concerned about those benefits, this is the time to do it. We have a full team of full-time specialists that all they do is connect you with benefits. So open enrollment is going on now. You can find out all of this information at OCHC-MILW.org, or just go to Google, type in Outreach Community Health Centers. And take a look on the website. You can read more and see the pictures of these fabulous residents on the website. So take some time, do your homework, see that we the best, right? And then call the schedule to make your appointment at 414-727-6320. Anything else y'all want to leave the people with? Any nuggets of knowledge that they should think? Just on a personal note. Yes. What you got, Debo?
I have not heard you speak about my favorite thing.
Oh my God. Let me make sure I do this real quick, because Debo he making sure. In our building, we have a vending machine that is totally free. This vending machine is totally free. So listen, gun locks are available at Outreach. I'm shameless. Listen, I do marketing. That's what I do. Gun locks, medication locks, Narcan, all of that is available, restocked by the county. It's at Outreach, 220 West Capitol Drive. Come on out and see us. No questions asked. Just flash a smile, go to the machine, go on out. Nothing else needed. But we do really want you to take your health seriously this year. So call us. Residency program, MCW, led by the best, held up by the bestest. And just know that behind the scenes, women are getting it done for you. All right. So thank you to Rochelle Cockerham, Veronica Williams for joining me in the studio today. Y'all so fly. Y'all so fly, and giving us the knowledge that we need. You are listening to Community Heartbeat. I look forward to seeing you all in 2 weeks. Community Heartbeat, presented by Outreach Community Health Centers, is not just a show. This is a movement dedicated to bringing our community together through wellness, keeping your heart pumping with positivity. Until next time, be good to each other, be good to your body, and schedule your appointment.